Hello everybody, this is not a crypto expert chiming in with another video, and in today's video I wanted to go over an article that I ran across on Coinspeaker.com, and the article is regarding the difference between blockchain and distributed ledger technology. But before I get into the topic of discussion for today, I would like to ask you please consider giving me a like, giving me a heart, giving me a thumbs up, giving me a follow, giving me a subscribe. I'm not going to ask you to share because it seems invasive. On my channel, I talk about blockchain technology as well as cryptocurrency. I try to keep it entertaining with the beat in the background. So, like I said, on to the topic of discussion for today, which is what's the difference between blockchain and distributed ledger technology. And the reason why I wanted to go over this is because I actually had this question before I really got into my blockchain journey. And this article does a really good job of describing what the two are. The blockchain has grown to be a far more popular term than the DLT itself, which of course is thanks in no small part to the rise of the Bitcoin and the other digital currencies over the decade. While blockchain is the spine of the major cryptocurrency, it of course has other use cases and applications with the potential of being implemented across diverse sectors other than finance, including health, agriculture, and countless other sectors that the blockchain itself might even redefine. Thus, what is it about blockchain that sets it apart as probably the most important innovation of the past decade? The blockchain is, put simply, the sequences and series of records that cannot be altered and is being managed by a large body of computers. Computers verifying transactions in a blockchain might be hundreds, thousands, or even in many practical cases, millions in numbers. The blockchain, due to its immutability, security, and lack of a central authority, has grown in popularity. By cutting away the need for a middleman, the blockchain allows products and prospective services to be rendered directly to the customers without the middleman. It's like buying pizza without the delivery guy or paying client miles and oceans away from your country directly without any medium such as Visa or PayPal cutting into the deal. Blockchain has provided the ground for many smart protocols and contracts and is only going to get stronger and find more use cases. The blockchain, modeled as a series of immutable records, is only secure because of the cryptography linking its blocks. This is where the concept of chain is derived. There are two kinds of records in a blockchain. The first is the transaction, and the other is the block. The transaction record stores timestamped transactions over no transaction costs. The block records are secured by a cryptography hash, which is encoded information of the preceding block. The blocks in a blockchain are timestamped, recording the present state of the system cryptographically so that any future change would have to be verified by the majority of the network. This means the addition of a new block to the existing chain becomes harder and involves more processes. Each increase in block given each addition would have to be verified by the existing network. Thus, the blockchain comes off more secure. By requiring the majority of the system to verify change, it eliminates the need for trust, simply giving authority to the majority. Kale Alm, a Bitcoin core developer, explained why this process is important. He stresses that verification eliminates the possibility of fraudulent transactions while still eliminating trust at the same time. And here's his quote. Blockchains alleviate the trust requirement in a shared timestamp database. For a public cryptocurrency, this is obviously necessary, or someone might just go and give themselves $1 million USD. But for a private database, especially when it's not a cryptocurrency but some more abstract form of smart contract platform, it starts to make less and less sense. Alright, so what is distributed ledger technology, or DLT? As hyped and known as the blockchain is, however, just a type of distributed ledger. If a pencil is a writing material as well as a pen, then the blockchain is a very good pencil. This is a terrible oversimplification, by the way, but the point remains the same. The blockchain is a specific type of distributed ledger, and there could be other types of ledgers different from blockchain and with different use cases. The distributed ledger is likewise a database that is public in nature. It requires many witnesses and is open to all participants. Like in the blockchain, the DLT does not require a middleman, which makes the concept of distributed ledger technologies very alluring. While the blockchain, of course, has stolen the march and grown into respectable popularity over the years, there's every possibility that other forms of DLTs would materialize in the very near future. As James Wallace, Vice President of Blockchain Markets and Engagements for IBM, explained, applications of DLTs in the future will come off in the most unlikely of ways and places. Here's a quote from James. You will see uses for DLT that we can't even think of today, but that this will involve a level of sharing that hasn't really existed before. How the blockchain differs from the distributed ledger. As mentioned, the blockchain is only a type of DLT and just so happens to be the one known to be underlying DLT technology in the world. However, other key differences set the blockchain apart from its parent term. For one, the blockchain is a permissionless system while the DLT is not necessarily permissionless. In fact, a DLT is generally considered to require permission. The underlying concept behind the blockchain is particular about the growth and the openness of the networks. Thus, a blockchain is open to anyone, meaning any party can create and verify nodes on the former, while at the latter, it is not the case. According to the director of the ecosystem at Hyperledger, Marta Piekarska, this particular feature is probably the most important feature that separates the two, explaining its corresponding impact on its application. He talked of Bitcoin. First and foremost, and I think Marta Piekarska is a female, a woman, I believe. First and foremost, one is permissionless, the other is permission. This means that in the first case, anyone can participate in the network. In the other, only chosen participants have access to it. This also determines the size of the network. Bitcoin wants to grow infinitely, while in a permissioned blockchain space, the number of parties is smaller. Apart from this, not all DLT are cryptographically hashed. It is perhaps uncommon and not necessary in the majority of other existing DLTs. These subtle differences contribute to other major differences that affect the performance of both subjects. So in conclusion, the blockchain, as known, is largely decentralized. However, while the DLT is shared by many participants, its databases is majorly centralized. This, of course, leads to the issue of scalability. By decentralizing its entire network, the blockchain is generally slower in transactions than most DLTs, leading to significantly inferior scalability. Nevertheless, the blockchain is here to stay, and its increasing use cases is more than enough proof. Other forms and applications of distributed ledger technology will be emanating soon in the near future. We can only keep our fingers crossed and enjoy the unveiling evolution. I hope that you enjoyed this article. I hope that this helped you out. If there were some questions that you had regarding what is the difference between a DLT and blockchain, or are they the same, this article that I ran across did clear up a few things that I wasn't aware of. So I hope that you enjoyed it. And with that being said, folks, I hope that you are having a great morning, a great afternoon, and an even better evening.